Hello. Hello, my spiritual entrepreneurs out there. Today we have a Sagittarius full moon. We are on the cusp of it. The full moon happened last night, and we can still wield this powerful energy to be able to increase our capacity to receive more, to also increase our capacity to give more. Giving and receiving is of the same energy, infinite, beautiful cycle. And we do not want to be out of balance with this energy. And the Sagittarius full moon is a potent time to release something that has been holding you back from being able to give and receive at the level that is required of you to be able to lead your audience, lead your clients, lead a movement. And that's really what we're here for. If you're new to my world, hi, I'm Christina Gomes. I'm a self proclaimed astrology nerd. I love all things depth psychology. And so I'm calling my approach to astrology depth astrology because we are really looking at the symbols, the energies, the archetypes as we walk through this life, and we're invoking certain archetypes and certain energies that we need for the right moments, for the correct path, and to just live the life that we came here to live. Okay. Now, I have three placements in Sagittarius. So, this is known as a stellium. And wherever we have three of something in our chart, we want to pay extra attention to those energies, how they combine. And Sagittarius combining with the full moon is an excellent time to understand our higher truth. But I want to get into a little bit of advanced astrology for just a moment. And you don't need to know anything about astrology for this to speak to your soul. Your soul remembers the ancient ways. Your soul understands symbols, energies, and archetypes. This is the work of Carl Jung, depth psychology. We live at the level of story, we live at the level of archetypes, and we want to bring that from the collective unconscious into our conscious awareness so that we can work with the energies that are alive in the moment and expand through them. So, Sagittarius combined with the full moon. Full moons are an excellent time to release. Now, I was just teaching a masterclass yesterday where we went even deeper into a release practice. You can get that practice at freeyourcreativity.org/ritual. It's a .org, just remember that. But we go through a full release ritual to release launch trauma, goal trauma, income dip trauma, like anything that is preventing you from expanding. But I just want to riff and speak to your soul and your subconscious right now so that you can go through this practice with awareness if you want it. There's also going to be an EFT practice dropping in there. It's like a little bundle, a Sagittarius full moon bundle that I want you to have. But I first want you to just simply lean in to the knowing that these celestial bodies and cycles are affecting you, whether you bring it to your conscious awareness or not. And so I hope that this transmission helps you to be a conscious creator of your soul led entrepreneurship journey, because I know it's not easy. And if you've ever experienced a income dip, or if you've experienced a moment where you put out a big, audacious dream or goal, and then you didn't meet it, what this happens sometimes is it decreases our belief in ourselves, it decreases our confidence, it decreases our capacity to go all in. And this is all on an unconscious level. It's not like we're waking up every day inside of our businesses going like, I don't have the capacity to do this. You may actually be there. You may actually be aware of your like, this is bullish and like you may be aware of a yeah, just a bummed out attitude. And it's okay to grieve a goal that you didn't meet, but I want you to understand that you don't just get one chance. And that's the beautiful nature, cyclical nature of the moon. It shows us that things are moving in cycles. She shows us that things are moving in cycles. And then the Sagittarius energy is about seeking. It's seeking higher truth. It's a journey energy. It's a journey is the reward energy. And the traveler. And a bit of advanced depth astrology is that the planet that rules Sagittarius is Jupiter. And Jupiter just moved into Cancer. So when we think of travelers, we sometimes think about actually taking a literal plane ride to another part of the globe, which is very Sagittarius. Like I've traveled to over 30 countries. Remember, I have 3 placements in Sagittarius. We all have Sagittarius energy in your chart. And if you'd like a reading, you can reach out to me to see where Sagittarius lives in your chart and how you can wield this full moon energy appropriately. Like we have a few days in the shadow of the full moon to really emphasize its importance, and knowing your chart and knowing where you're headed in your business is going to expand and increase your revenue, wielding all the different powers and archetypes in your chart. Now, we all have this energy in our chart, and either way, this is the energy of the moment, Sagittarius. But Jupiter ruling Sagittarius and entering Cancer, Cancer is the sign of the mother, of the nurturer, of these emotional waters. So while Jupiter is expansive and it's about higher seeking truth and travel, we can also travel inward, back to the moment that we started our businesses. No matter how long you've been in the game, how many times you failed forward, how many times you failed and wanted to quit, like the longer you've been in the game, the more chances that you have to meet a failure. And the failures really make you who you are. But if it's starting to chip away at you and chip away at your confidence, then we just need to do the deeper work. We need to release the launch trauma. We need to return to a place where we can set higher goals. Because when you first started, did you set a really big, audacious goal? Probably. You were probably like, I want to be a billionaire. I want to be a millionaire. I want to impact thousands of lives. And you were all gung ho. And then, just like maybe an old married couple that seems a little bit more bitter, that like just knows each other's patterns and gets annoyed much more easily with each other and the way that they breathe, you may have come into this kind of bitter approach to your business, waking up every day, needing to do the same old song and dance, forgetting the real reason and why of starting your business, which was probably to nurture somebody through their transformation. That's that watery, there was probably a real emotional reason that was moving through the watery depths of your inner world that made you start, right? And so we get to wield the energy of this full moon. And yes, full moon in Sagittarius could seem very fiery, but we also get to work with this Sagittarius ruling planet of Jupiter that just entered Cancer. And this is a big transition because Jupiter moves slowly and will be in Cancer for an entire year. So this is a big transition, and you'll be starting to feel the Jupiter in Cancer, that grandfather meets mother energy, that expansive, outward seeking energy, that guru energy of like higher knowledge and learning and acquiring knowledge, and mixing it with the Cancerian energy of home, of motherhood, of nurturing, of deep emotional waters. And Jupiter really thrives in Cancer. So we are going to thrive in the season of business, but not if we continue to carry whatever is weighing on our hearts. And so, how do you know if you have something weighing on your heart? How do you know if you have launch trauma that you need to clear? Now, it could show up as in understanding that you're tired. You're just like, I'm tired. I don't know why. The same thing. I'm doing the same amount of work. I have the same amount of clients. I've actually maybe even decreased my client uh, Rolodex, my client income, my client day to day work, and yet I'm more tired. I just don't feel the energy to have the same level of creative output that I once had. And you might be blaming it on your hormones. You might be blaming it on the economy. You might be blaming it on the fact that you're growing older. Hey, I'm 41. I get it. I've been working out 2 times a week, every week for the last couple of months, and my body just hurts all the time. And it's not like it was at 26, where I was like doing everything all at once all the time. And I want you to know that this work that I just took myself through, because we're all our best clients, and I just took myself through this work, then took a group of humans that signed up to the live transmission, and now you'll get to receive the replay instant access at freeyourcreativity.org/ritual. Remember that it's an org, so if you get to a .com and you don't see my curly headed face, then it's a .org/ritual. Links in the comments, links in the description. And if you have even an inkling that there is some weight you've been carrying about a moment in your business where you felt like you should have known, I want you to sign up for this class, this transmission, really. And I'll tell you a little story about the first time that I thought I should have known, and then I tell the story of a more recent time in the class. So I'll save that for the class so you can go deeper. But the shadow of the Sagittarius is the know it all, believing that we know it all. Because the Sagittarius has been seeking for lifetimes, right? The Sagittarius has the energy of knowing. They're seeking higher truths. And so there is this air, this aura of knowing. And the Sagittarius is also like a guru energy. Not that I call myself a guru or that you should call yourself a guru, but you may notice if you have Sagittarius energy that people are coming to you naturally to learn. And some Sagittarius might not even, they're like, I'm free. They might not even claim the role of teacher for a while in their lives, but they are natural born teachers. And it comes from the ability to seek higher knowledge and then want to transmit that higher knowledge, that wisdom that they've acquired over journeying and traveling and years of seeking to more people, so that more people can have access to a higher truth. And that's what we're all doing. We're all simply, as transformational facilitators, wherever you call yourself, a coach, mentor, breathwork facilitator, Akashic Records reader, psychic, wherever you are on this journey of walking each other home, that's all we're doing. We're just women or men practicing the principles we teach, non-binary humans practicing the principles we teach. And here we are together on this journey, some of us acquiring more knowledge and then wanting to transmit it. Like, everybody has the call to teach and few answer. And so my role here as a leader to teachers and coaches and mentors and guides is to help you to answer that call with confidence and to continue to pick up the phone when you need to meet yourself in your own creative expression and amplify your teachings, because they need to be passed on. And so that's very Sagittarius energy. But the shadow is when we want to get to that next level, and there is next levels, and some levels require initiation. So I sat at the foot of the monk, a real guru, dressed in orange robes, and he felt like Jupiter. If you read my book, Rhythm, Ritual, and Resonance, I was promoting it a little bit ago. So if you're here revisiting this transmission and coming to my lives regularly, maybe you've read my book, but you'll know that his transmission felt like Jupiter. And I didn't learn till after that Jupiter is the guru energy. And this was a true guru. This was a true living teacher that without even saying it, initiated us into a higher level of consciousness. And that is enlightenment. It's a higher level of consciousness. It's you get less triggered in a higher level of consciousness. And if you just break the consciousnesses up, the conchi, like what's the plural of that? But if you break consciousness up into levels, you can do it multiple ways. We have the collective unconscious, we have the subconscious, and we have the conscious. We also have, as a collective, we have exoteric knowledge, which is the average knowledge that most people receive in their lives. And then we have the esoteric knowledge, which is probably what you teach on, what you've been trained in, what you've been initiated into, and what you are initiating, even if you don't call your programs initiations. I don't, but the true fact of the matter is when you are rising in consciousness, you're really not doing that alone in a bubble. You're usually receiving teachings, understandings, shifts, and transmissions. And then, yes, you may be initiating yourself. You may be a self initiate, but you may be here receiving this transmission, self initiating, and never letting me know that you are in my world, that I'm teaching you something new or helping you to remember something that you already knew. And yet, I get to bring people to the level that my teachers have brought me. And that's just what we're doing here as really high quality teachers and guides, high valued guides. And so within that, there is also another level. And so even though I weave in and we weave in, we dip into the exoteric and we come back into the esoteric, into the true remembering. And then there's mesoteric where, yeah, I mean, those are where the highest level teachers live, where my teachers lived. And I don't claim enlightenment. That's my other book, like just gloriously unenlightened, here to teach some of the things that I've learned so that you can get to where you need to go and where your soul's destiny is guiding you. And I get to be a little signpost on the path. And if you want to work with me deeper, this is why I have my school, the Conscious Creative Business School, where it's one part magic, one part subconscious reprogramming, and a whole lot of practical magic, a whole lot of practicality, strategy, systems, and things designed for you to really run a successful business, because more mystics should be making six figures. And I just believe that wholeheartedly. So the shadow of the Sagittarius, if we think we know it all, but we know everything about exoteric life, we know everything that the cult of average has taught us and conditioned us to believe, but we think we know it all, it's going to be very hard to get to the next level. And that's the shadow of the Sagittarius. And so when we think we know it all, we can be going about our business, knowing what we know, but things are changing. The market is changing. Your market has gotten more sophisticated. The way that we launch has changed, and the way that we share knowledge and information has changed. And if we are stuck in our ways, and the opposite of Sagittarius is Gemini. Gemini is curious. Gemini asks questions. Gemini communicates with their audience. And so a Sagittarius might sit in the cave of the guru knowing, and then have people come to see them to teach. But we get to move out of the Sagittarius knowing and into a more curious state. What is working now? What's going to work for me now in the next era of my business? And so it's all very beautiful to grow and expand and to seek a higher knowledge. And that comes from that seed of your desire to be a seeker. You probably already are a seeker, and yet we want to turn that seeking inward to remember the seed of creation of what brought you to this moment now. And we get to release what is holding you back. So if you feel tired, if you feel a little bitter, if you feel a little frustrated that the newfangled curious kids on the block are like creating, millions of dollars, and you've been in the game, this like wise crone healer, or this like, even if you're young and you have an old soul and you like feel your past lives and you're like, yeah, wise AF, and yet, these kids come out of nowhere knowing how to use the TikTokies, and we're like, okay, but I have real knowledge and wisdom to share. You just get to admit that there's another level for you, and that you'll have to come out of the know-it-all energy and into curious of what there is to know, curious of what there is that you can apply to your business in your own rhythm and resonate at a higher frequency, resonate at a deeper frequency. It doesn't have to be higher, it could be deeper, but resonating at a frequency that your audience wants to aspire to. So let's just talk about resonance for a moment, because when we're talking about astrology and these big celestial bodies, they have messages to share with us. So when we're resonating with Jupiter, that planet of expansion, but now in Cancerian energy, then we are resonating with a morphic field, an archetypical language of energy that we can invoke through practices. But first, we need to release. So, we released in this transmission launch trauma. If you ever set a big goal and you didn't make it, and you're like, but I should have known, that's what we're talking about here. Most of us who are old, wise crones, old souls, whether no matter your age, feel like you are here to lead a movement, feel like the proverbial mother or auntie to all of these beautiful children or beautiful seekers of knowledge that have come through your programs. And now it's starting not to work. It can really make you question a lot in life. And in order to expand and start resonating with a higher truth and knowledge, we get to release that moment. Oh, I was going to tell you a story of the first time. So even at a young age, I was a know-it-all because I love studying. I love knowing. I'm very resourceful. Even before like Google was really around, like I was a young gal, like the internet came out when I was like 16. So but I really was about it. I was like researching things. I was asking people questions. I was like, this is amazing. And this is those of us who are meant to bring in the age of Aquarius, because Aquarius rules social media. It rules the new age technology. And so it rules anything new. So the age of Aquarius wouldn't say, okay, no, just only ancient things, only the ways of old. Like, no, there gets to be a balance and a weaving of the ancient future and allowing the age of Aquarius and carrying in the age of Aquarius. That's a lot of our unconscious missions in life, or maybe it's conscious for you. And so I didn't know any of this ish, and I'm a student of psychology, and I graduate, I get a job right out of my master's level program. So I'm only like 26. I'm working in group home and foster care, and I am rocking it. I am on the path to master my craft. And this is very Sagittarius energy. It's very Jupiterian energy. It's like mastery. Okay. I'm on the path of mastering my craft. I know I am going to be in the game for the long haul. I'm not, hey, I need a quick win all the time, short, fast dopamine hits. I mean, yes, this is a part of my life as well. Like I'll scroll like the best of them. And like there is an understanding that nothing gets created in a moment. Rome wasn't built in a day. That affects your consciousness because Rome wasn't built in a day, but it can be destroyed in a day. And that's quite beautiful, because that energy exists as well. And there are three forces to life, okay? So creation, destruction, and sustenance. And I teach that in the Full Moon Masterclass as well. So if you know anything about yoga, Brahma, Shiva, Vishnu, the three faces of God, you know about the Holy Trinity, you know about there's three forces in everything. Your subconscious and your collective conscious knows that there's three forces to anything: Mother, Maiden, Crone, the Holy Trinity. And so, yeah, but back then I didn't know the great mysteries of life. I just knew psychology and what I learned in my master's level program. And it was very practical. I was going to be a clinical psychologist. So I worked for 3 years until the day I was attacked in the office. Okay. And this is destruction energy, which is a part of life. And yet I wasn't aware of that. And I was like, my whole identity was taken from me, of this woman on a path of mastery to be really, really great at her craft, to understand trauma at a deep level, and I'm in my 20s. So I can't return to work because my own PTSD. I try to work on it. It's not working. I'm just flustered. I cannot go back to work. This set me on a journey. Sagittarius energy set me on a journey over 30 something countries, over half a decade of acquiring different wisdom traditions, knowledge. I now live in Central America on Mayan land, learning about the cacao traditions and Mayan astrology, and being with the energies that exist in the land that I'm traveling through. So I also lived in Thailand and learned about the different weavings. And what I love about traditional ancient peoples and cultures is that there's a lot of weaving. There's a lot of weaving in those cultures, and that lands at a subconscious level as well. And this is why I love to weave um, astrology with human design, with practicality. And it's like when we can really make an entire quilt of wisdom and we don't get boxed in of like, I'm an astrologer and so I want to be known for astrology. It's like, no, and I want to be known for the love that my clients feel in my school. I want to be known for the results that my clients get because of the way that I weave the great mysteries together, hold space for them, deliver what they need in the right moment, hear them, hear their challenges, and not try to just feed them what I know, but also help them to come to their own understandings of life and their own businesses and the movements that they're here to create. When I say business, I don't just mean money in the bank. I mean your sacred calling, the movement that you're here to lead, and you being valued. That's why I use the word business, because I'm not here to make you a nonprofit leader. I'm here for you to be fully nourished, valued, being able to continue to learn, resourced, let's go. And so you get to have a price that feels valuable for you. But we'll just put that to the side. That's what I teach on in my school. And for right now, continue with the story. So the rug was pulled out from under me. Everything I thought I knew was taken from me, and I was lost. Back then, I was depressed. I was lost. I didn't know what was next for me. But I went and studied yoga. I studied with masters all over the world. I studied with Mantak Chia, Taoist perspective. And I really was like, okay, let's go. I'm ready now to deliver different teachings and help leaders to lead. I'm so excited for this, right? And beautiful. So I didn't realize that I carried the weight of goal trauma. I had a goal of something, I had a path in my mind, and it wasn't the aligned path. And the universe will sometimes whisper, hey, this isn't the right path. Hey, until it starts to yell in your face. But you don't have to wait that long, right? And you may have had a recent trauma where you had a big, audacious goal, and I want you to set them. I also help my clients to set good, better, and best goals, good, better, and big, audacious goals. But the beautiful thing about what I teach is that you do not need to get this on the first try, because you're not going to probably. And even for those of you who have launched before, so that you're like, hey, but I know how to launch, things have changed. And you might not get it on the first try of this next era offer, or with your new message, or with your expanded energy from the things that you've gone through in the last few years. And so the invitation here is to return to your why, what you think you know and that you should have known. And we're going to release that you should have known, because you cannot know what you know now, and you cannot know what you are about to learn. If you want to join me, I have a live 8-week program that starts next Tuesday. It actually started yesterday because the transmission was our first class. And in that class, you just get to decide if you want to be guided through a very magical process, which is known as the creative compass in my world. And it's the hero's journey mapped onto an Enneagram. Do I have my little map? I don't right now, but I go into it in detail in the full moon transmission, because this is how you never fail again. This is how you never fail again, but also approach failure from a different lens. If you feel like you failed, it's not truth. You just haven't completed the creative compass in the correct order. Now, what do I mean by that? So if you make a triangle again, as a beautiful symbol, the law of three, there are three lines. Now, there's a surrender line, there's actually a fear line, and there's an active line. And if you are working with fear, we need to work with fear. Your fears are going to come up, limitations are going to come up. But if you're working with fear in the moments that you're supposed to surrender, then you're out of order. The math isn't mathing. And then you're not going to get the goals because goals are math. Okay. If you are like surrendering when you're meant to take action, this doesn't make any sense. And a lot of people do that in manifestation. They're like, I put my intention out and I surrender to God's will. Well, did you put together a proper launch plan and execute on it in a way that is going to spin the wheel, get the momentum going so that you can be in the correct place to surrender? Because there is a correct place to surrender. And this is the law of three. Okay. And there will be times where you didn't surrender. And so the universe is like, okay, the math is now mathing and the rug is pulled out from you and you will be forced to surrender. And that's not very pleasant. So we want to prepare for this. We want to prepare for the challenges that are up ahead, because the manifestation world will say, if you're feeling challenged, if you're not high vibe all the time, if you're not feeling good all the time, then you're not manifesting correctly. This is bullshit. Anybody who lives a life knows that you have good and bad days, and sometimes for no damn reason. Like sometimes I'm like, yep, there is no reason that I feel this right now, and I don't have to go digging in my psyche for all the trauma that I've been through to find that reason. I know I'm traumatized. I know my father did this. I know my mother did this. And it's not useful to stay in that blame energy. But what is useful to your mission and your impact and your future clients is you turning your direction to your soul's destiny, which we can find in your chart, but also mapping out a plan that gets you through those hard times intentionally. So this is what we're going to do together in my 8-week live program. We go through every point on the Enneagram. Do I have my little map? I'm going to show you. We go through every point on the Enneagram. Now, this is a sacred symbol. It's coming with 3 symbols in one. 3 for the price of 1 with the Enneagram. But this is not just a personality test. This is a sacred path. And these lines actually are about going forward and backward in time. So I, as a Sagittarius, have gone forward in time to help you map out with you the things that you're going to need, but there is individuality in this. The same map is not going to work for you as it's going to work for your neighbor, as it's going to work for your colleague, as it's going to work for your student. And so the important thing is to go through this with me live so that you can get your personal rituals, you can get your personal energy cleared, you can get your personal to-do list. Okay, you do need to take action, but you might not need to take the same action that I've taken. And this is where the problem lies in the marketing world, is we in the past have just been passing down marketing hacks and blueprints from our last coach, and I'm guilty of that as well, until I found the universal pathway that doesn't fail. This is the hero's journey. And the thing that the manifestation teachers don't teach you is when and where it will get challenging. I know exactly where it'll get challenging. It's challenging for a reason. So if you've ever heard of the hero's journey, this is Joseph Campbell's work. The hero's journey is the myth of all myths, and this is known as the master of all systems. So the myth of all myth combined with the master of all systems is a beautiful story that you will walk, where challenges don't knock you out of your big audacious goal, your creative aim, but they make you the person that you're meant to become in order to meet that aim. So, and yet challenges are so hard to move through, especially if you're thinking, oh God, like I just gotta be higher vibe or feel better about this. You do not have to feel better about the shitty things that happen to you in the day. You might just need to feel exactly how you feel and then get back on the horsey horse, because you probably have a bigger dragon to face in the next go around. And if it's hard for a reason. And anybody who's done anything remarkable, I mean, if you don't want to make a mark, I'm probably not your girl. But anybody who's done anything remarkable, written a book, gotten famous for poetry, I'm talking like Maya Angelou, um, Frida Kahlo, like musicians that have touched you not just because of the music they make, but because of who they are. They never say, oh yeah, I got an easy life, it was great. They're like, maybe they had an easy life, an easy childhood, and got instilled in them that their voice mattered, but they've met their own challenges along the way. We've all had grief and loss and moments, and it's in those moments that who do you have on your side to lean in for support? That's why I exist. I don't just exist to give you the map. This is why I host my programs live. You can go through this self-paced at a later date, but it's just going to be harder to get the personal love and attention and feed forward that you probably are missing, especially if you've invested in yourself 1,000 times. If you're like, but I invested $10,000 in a prominent coach and I got results then, but I'm not getting results now. Are you really going to invest again? Maybe not. It's not about just investing again. It's about getting yourself inside of a room that's really going to see you and give you a repeatable process. So the next time you launch, you won't need me by your side. Maybe you can, if you desire to have me by your side, I'd love to. But the next time you launch, you'll have a repeatable process. You'll have your own rituals. You'll know when it's going to get hard, and you'll follow through all the way through, all the way through. Because if you've ever quit when you were supposed to surrender, this is why your confidence has been chipped away. Because it doesn't just go, you don't, you can blame it on the market and the economy as much as you want, but there will be a subtle inside voice that knows that you didn't follow through with the power and energy that you know you could be capable of. And so that's really what the next round of the next cycle in my Conscious Creative Business School is all about. It's a live 8-week program called Rhythm, Ritual, and Resonance. I go through what rhythm, ritual, and resonance is in the Full Moon Masterclass. So just go through that. We're going to release the launch trauma. You're going to get an EFT tapping. And this is all for free. So just sign up for the free class, because I want you to get a taste of the work. Because if we don't vibe, then please go find your Vibosaurus Rex, because I don't want anybody in my program that needs convincing or doesn't like me. Like, we gotta vibe with each other. We gotta like each other. We gotta, this is a projection free space. I do not project my things onto you, and you do not project your things onto me. I am not the cause of your failures, and I am not the cause of your success ever. No coach ever is. But you may not have gotten the attention, the love, and the correct blueprint that you need, not something that your last coach made up. This is the creation myth that exists, the pattern that exists in every creation, and this might be what you've been missing. That's going to be more aligned with your next era. This gets you out of the cult of average, with average coaches making average amounts of money, teaching average skills, and it elevates you as a teacher and a guide, and it elevates your ability to receive more money, because people are, and probably your market is sick of hearing the same thing. You're sick of hearing the same thing. They're sick of hearing the same thing. And this is an indicator that you are ready to elevate, and you're ready to elevate your people as well. So I'm excited to see who wants to join me and sign up for the free class if you're not sure if we vibe. If you are sure we vibe and you know you want to just get right into the full program, just message me right now, especially in this week. I'm an open book to answer any of your concerns, doubts, worries, help you to release that past maybe coach trauma of like not being seen in a coaching program, not being valued. I do small group right now in the school, no more than 10 and then no more than 20. But right now, no more than 10 people are on a call at one time. So uh, you definitely get your personal questions answered, and you get Monday through Thursday office hours, because it is just my mission and highest joy to answer your questions. And so I reserve that space for paying clients. But if you're considering becoming a paid client, then that's amazing. I'll answer your questions now. I would love to, because I want to make sure that this is the right space for you. And if there's any red flags from either one of us, then there are red flags. There are people you're not going to vibe with. And maybe you feel that way from your last coach. And I just want to help you to clear that. Of like, if you felt unseen, or like your creativity was diminished, or if they told you that you could only make money this way, or here was the exact blueprint, or just follow my way or the highway, you're just simply in the wrong space for someone like you. And that's not the vibe in my school. And I would love to learn more about your vision, what you're here to create, the movement you're here to make, and let's make moves together. I'll talk to you so soon. Happy full moon. Bye.